Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Letheans Let's Play of TerraFirmaCraft. I left us in the middle of a field at the end of last episode, and notice now that the sun is quickly setting. So, we should find a place to take refuge. We're still searching for the last little bit of copper that we will need to make our first pick. I was hoping to run across it while we were out here exploring these fields. Why is there? Oh, okay, lava. That is why there was glowing there. But it does not seem that we're going to find any copper before mobs come. And getting errors displaying the terrain. Okay. Okay. Shelter is not quite as far away from us as it was last time we needed to flee towards it. It is still too far though. That is a pity. Okay. We are going to dig in here like the horrible cowards we are, and I will see you come the morning. The sun is rising. I've heard some zombies hanging around outside. Don't seem to have caught fire yet, but oh yeah, I suspect they just wandered off a little bit before catching fire. Okay, now we really do need to find that one last piece of copper so that we can begin working our way up the tech tree so that hopefully we do not have to hide from the despicable zombies each night. Alternately, we could find a source of sphalerite, which would allow us to make bronze, which is actually better than copper. So that would be nice. Not holding my breath though. Instead, I'm going to count on finding one more piece of copper. To do that, we're going to explore this northerly direction. I looked up, as I promised I would last episode, whether sequoia saplings drop. Sequoias are those big trees by our shelter that would be so nice to cut down for a lot of early wood. Well, in looking it up, my sources actually seem to be somewhat conflicting. I'm not sure whether they will grow back or not. Oh. Potato seeds. Guess we'll grab some more of those. But yes, so I don't know if the sequoias will grow back or not. What I will probably do, move a little bit away from the shelter and cut a few of them down to start, because it would be very useful to have a large supply of wood relatively So many berry bushes. I'm not going to bother collecting them just yet. Our inventory is actually relatively full. Okay, tomatoes. We've got tomato seeds. Even if the crops out here die in the winter, they'll actually sprout again in the wild come the following year. So we don't have to worry about collecting everything now. Sycamore. I also looked up information about, it said that Douglas fir, I had heard, is the best kind of wood. I couldn't find a source for that. I think I must have heard it in one of Etho's videos. And I don't know why that is believed to be so by some people. It certainly has favorable characteristics. It grows very fast and relatively tall. But other than that, the wood, not exceptional. It doesn't burn super long, which is something that would be nice. In the fire pit, different woods will burn for different lengths of time. But yes, we are just going to explore through here. Pick out any crops or hopefully metals that we come across. Any resources that we just don't have a source for closer to home. These look like they are yellow bell peppers, I think. Not particularly motivated to get those. Oh, but what is this? Tetrahedrite. That is actually a copper ore. So we have now officially passed the threshold of 10 copper that we need to make our first copper item. Although we will actually make a bronze item, we can make simple bronze with cassiterite, which will make a more durable tool, which is great. Okay, I'm going to aim my wanderings back home. So chestnut is something I remember burns for a very long time. So I'm going to see if I can get a chestnut sapling. While we're out here. Though actually I might be confusing chestnut with hickory, now that I think about it. So I will just chop some of the leaves here, see if I get a convenient drop of a sapling. Okay, leave it at that. All the different kinds of wood. Ultimately, I think that the choice of which to grow a farm with is going to be largely aesthetic. What do you want your buildings to be made out of? At the moment, oh darn it, a bear. Luckily, I think we're faster. So as long as we keep heading away from it, it will not catch up. But yes, for the time being, I don't really care what material we get to build. I just really need to start doing that because it's getting very old, hiding in a hole every night. I could have an actual, safe home that I could run to. That would be great. But a lot of the early game TerraFirmaCraft is, in fact, I think a lot of the TerraFirmaCraft game the whole time is locating sources for the resources you're going to need. Which is one of the reasons I'm playing with a mapping mod. Just makes it so much more convenient to. That's ore of some sort. Let's see what it is. Kimberlite. Huh. If I remember correct, Kimberlite, it's actually where we can get diamonds. I'll mark it. Diamonds being, as far as I know, completely useless in TerraFirmaCraft. Are not a high priority, but having a source of them doesn't seem like it could hurt us. Maybe we'll put one in an item frame just to prove we can. And as always, looks like I am getting caught flat-footed by the night. Still very far away from home. But you know what? Our home is actually a hole in the ground currently. Not entirely certain why I always make the desperate attempt to get back to it when any other hole should theoretically serve as well. Okay, that is actually from last night. Last night's hole in the wall should be right over here, potentially. Just feel like using it. But I am mistaken, so I will dig into this wall. Hope that wolf doesn't decide to jump down on me. Okay, and for hopefully the last time, I will wait out the night in a hole in the wall. And the sun is rising. We are going to get moving. Actually, I heard the wolf that was out here make a sound. Just want to make sure that its drops are not somewhere very nearby. A little bit of extra hide would not be something I'd turn away. I don't see anything immediately, so we are going to get moving back to our shelter. Where we will begin working on actually making a base, getting our first pick. Those things. Going to need a little bit of straw, as you can see. make our pit kiln. You'll recall that requires 8 straw and 8 logs. So we will also need to get more logs. Lovely fruit trees dotting the landscape. Looks like up here it's actually some sort of crop. Bismuth. Probably wheat. It's a grain. Wheat, barley, rice, rye, I think are the options. Actually, really happy with our start. It's one of the most fertile and resource-rich areas I have seen in a TerraFirmaCraft starting location. Yeah, and that's wheat. You can tell it looks just like vanilla wheat. Did I run right past our shelter? Yeah. Yep. Past it in the opposite direction. Good pathfinding. Gee. Another grain. That's really impressive. We're really quite fortunate in that regard. Although, grain is not the easy path to bread that it is in vanilla. We have to grind it and add it with, or mix in water. It's actually a little difficult. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is a bit of wood. And what to do, drop off this vessel, and then toss out silver, this random dirt. Spider eye. Because it's going to switch to strawberries. Oh no, cherries. I want to open up some inventory space because wood only stacks to 16. These trees are obviously many more than 16 pieces of wood each. I want to be able to carry as much of it back as I can. I'm going to come over here and fell these sequoias. Notice that I switched to my undamaged axe. That is because the axe will take damage for each log that it breaks. And you will only break as many as it can before the tool breaks. So, as you can see, it didn't take down the whole tree. Only part of it, hopefully. Nope. Even with that, it didn't take down the whole tree. Okay. So, that just means that I need to make a new axe. These sequoias are going to be a great start. To our base. go. Finish this up. Yeah, we are going to get into building today. Don't think we're going to get exceptionally far. As you can see, collecting even wood in large amounts can be problematic in TerraFirmaCraft. And until we get a saw, we won't actually be able to make any of the wooden items like a chest or a door or a fence. But with this amount of wood that we have now, we can at the very least get started. And let's see, I'm going to place just along here some wood piles. Each wood pile can hold 16 wood. This is just a way for me to store it without having to carry it all in my inventory the whole time. Okay, then we are going to start our pit kiln. Well, okay, we're not going to start it quite yet. First we need to use this clay to make a few items. So we are going to need pickhead mold. Let's see, what else are we going to want? Give me one moment. This is actually something that I am going to want to look up on the wiki to figure out exactly what the pattern is for each of these tool molds. The other thing we're going to need very quickly is a saw, which looks like you start with a square on each corner, then you take out that. It's not one that I'm going to get used to very quickly. Okay, and then one of the additional spots, remember there are 4 spots that we can use each time in the pit kiln. Because you can see you can put 4 things down in a single block space. So we're going to fire an additional vessel. You might say that is 3 things, which is correct. But there's one more thing we are going to have to fire. That is actually the metal itself. And of course I'm out of space. Oh well. So we're going to want copper and cassiterite. We want that to equal 100, so 80, 90, 100. I believe this is the proper proportion for bronze. Yes, so bronze can be 88 to 92% copper, and then 8 to 12% tin. Cassiterite is tin, tetrahedrite is a form of copper. So this gives us 90% copper, 10% tin, which means bronze. So if we place that down, then make our pit kiln, and then we will need to light it. Aha! When that goes out, we will have some bronze and a pick shortly thereafter. I'm going for the pick instead of the saw blade. The saw blade is tempting because it would let us really start in earnest to work on our first home. But the reason I am shying away from that is because to get any additional tools, we'd have to scavenge up the metal like we did this last time. Whereas if we instead get a pick, we can go to that copper mine over there and get plenty of additional copper. Okay, I am going to eat some of these berries. Try and make some space in my inventory, but that didn't really succeed. We'll have an additional vessel when that is done. Well, two, kind of, which will be helpful. Store more items. But for the time being, I think we can actually work on clearing out an area maybe where we will build our first house. Of course. Hello, little friend. Okay. Well, we took one out, hopefully. Oh, yeah, of course. More are coming. Oh, even a little guy. Okay. He at least caught on fire. Oh, now I jumped in the water, so he will put himself out. We really, rather badly, need to make ourselves an actual shelter. But as promised last night, I'm not hiding in a hole at the moment, at least. So I am thinking, yes, that we will build our shelter right here, sort of facing this water. Got the forest to our right, then things up ahead. We can head over that way. It'll be nice, I think. But the design I'm going to use for our cabin is kind of a hobbit hole variety that I saw on the TerraFirmaCraft forums. It really impressed me with just the sort of the simplicity of putting it together, and the really great look of it. It looks, yeah, it's very reminiscent of a hobbit hole, kind of wooden structure that's covered in dirt, which is, very practical as well for the starting TerraFirmaCraft player. But in order to make this, I'm going to flatten out an area of land. And I think I will probably do much of that off camera. And you can rejoin me after dawn comes and we see what progress we made, or when that pick kiln finishes. Of course. First we will fight off these zombies because always thrilling to see whether I will actually survive the encounter. But yes, I've got those axes made, so I think I have this handled. I will see you when the sun rises. I'm sure you're shocked. I did not actually get anything done digging after I left off. I instead had to run like a madman to try and not get killed by a swarm of mobs that refused to leave me be. But I am proud to say I did not hide in a hole. Just ran in small circles like a chicken, my head cut off. Which is a really gruesome saying if you think about it. But yes, I managed to avoid taking much, if any, damage, and just lost a little bit of time. However, once we get back to our shelter, I think our pit kiln will probably be completed, and it is. Okay, here's what we need. We need room for 2 items in our inventory. The mold, the vessel, wrong vessel. This one here. You can see when it's got liquid metal in it, if you right click with it in the hotbar, it'll open up this interface. You can put a mold into it, and the mold will slowly fill up until it is full. And then can that in our crafting grid, get a bronze pickhead. Ha ha ha. Avast. Completely random word that has really no relevance to the current situation. But hooray, a better one that is in fact appropriate. We have a pick, copper pick to be precise, which we will use to get, not even a copper pick, a bronze pick, even better, which we will use to get copper, to get a saw and prospector's pick and all variety of other tools that we do not currently have. And it is going to be really good. In the meantime, I can toss that out again and actually collect the vessels where we can store some of the things we are not currently using. Like, for example, our seeds, some of this random food. Speaking of which, is this one? No, this one is berry bushes. Okay. Carrots, not very much decayed, and you can see that because it was in a vessel, it actually stayed preserved relatively well. Yeah, okay. That's what I was checking on. I also want, okay, don't have any bones or horns, which are what I was storing in there, which is fine. Yes. Our cedar here and a wood pile too. That way we just have one stack of logs, sequoia logs. So, I know that I promised we might make some progress today on our home, but I think it's about time to wrap up. So what I'll do is I will clear out between this episode and next a bit of land here, where starting next episode we can really start to build you know, at least a rudimentary shelter to keep us from having more hole-in-the-wall hiding or chicken with its head cut off running. And we will also go and mine some copper because there is nothing more satisfying than watching an episode on YouTube that has the player mining. It's just really the most amazing and entertaining content. But no, I mean, it really is, you know, it's an achievement. It's our first time doing it. And it's fun, at least for the first couple of ores, to see them getting broken. And then you have the distinct advantage of cutting back to me with a full inventory of ore, or at least all the ore I could find, rather than having to manually dig it out yourself. But yes, that is for next time. This is the Lethian signing out. I'll see you then.